Breaking a lease can be a complicated and sometimes costly decision, but there are certain circumstances where it might be possible to do so without penalty. Typically, a lease is a binding contract between a tenant and landlord, which means that if you break it, you may face financial consequences such as paying the remainder of the rent until the lease term ends. However, there are exceptions to this, and understanding your rights can help you navigate this situation more effectively. First, review your lease agreement. Some leases include specific clauses that outline conditions under which you can leave early without penalties, like job relocation, military deployment, or even a personal emergency. This is often called an early termination clause. If your lease has such a clause, you may be able to terminate the lease early by following the steps outlined in the agreement, such as giving proper notice or paying a fee. In addition to the lease terms, local tenant laws may offer protection under specific conditions. For instance, in many jurisdictions, tenants can legally break a lease without penalty if they are victims of domestic violence, are moving to a nursing home, or have been called for active military duty. These protections vary by state or country, so it's important to familiarize yourself with the local tenant laws in your area to know your rights. Another option is to talk to your landlord. If you're upfront and transparent about your situation, some landlords may be willing to negotiate an exit. In some cases, they might allow you to find a replacement tenant, a process called subletting, or even release you from the lease without penalties if they are able to find a new renter quickly. It's always worth having an open discussion and explaining your circumstances before taking any legal steps. Lastly, it's important to understand that if your living conditions are unsafe or violate health and safety codes, you may have grounds to break the lease without facing penalties. Issues like mold, lack of heat, or poor building maintenance can make a property uninhabitable. If the landlord fails to address these concerns after you've reported them, you could have a legal justification to terminate the lease early. Ultimately, breaking a lease without penalty depends on a mix of your lease terms, local tenant laws, and communication with your landlord. Before making any decisions, review your agreement carefully, research tenant rights in your area, and consider having an honest conversation with your landlord. In some cases, you may be able to leave without facing harsh financial penalties or legal repercussions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe or check out our other videos offering advice and tips for landlords, tenants, and rental investors. We will see you in the next video.